Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Module 2, Lesson 1 of our new, this is our new module, and today we are going to be talking about time and measurement and how to use it with a stopwatch. So it's a pretty exciting lesson. I'm kind of excited for it. Okay, so today let me just fix this. Our objective, or what we're going to learn what to do today, is we are going to explore time as a continuous measurement using a stopwatch. Okay, so we're going to break that down for you. So explore, that means we're just going to do things. We're going to figure out, we're going to take our time looking around and exploring it. Time. So that means time as in seconds, minutes, hours, the time on our clock, the time on our watches, the time on our stopwatches, as a continuous measurement. So that means it's going to keep on going using a stopwatch. And here is our stopwatch. Okay? So we're going to explore time as a continuous measurement using a stopwatch. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to do the application problem together. So take a look at this is our application problem. And it says, Miss Bauer helps her class tie their shoes. I think it's a kindergarten class. So it takes her 5 seconds, sorry, my seconds went over here, to tie one shoe. How many seconds does it take to tie 8 shoes? Okay, so let's start and let's box our numbers. I see 5 here, I see 1 here, I see 8 here. Let's underline our question. How many seconds does it take to tie 8 shoes? And let's circle some keywords. So a keyword definitely is seconds, so we know what unit of measurement we're talking about. We know we're talking about seconds here, because seconds are very different from hours. So we're talking about seconds, and we're talking about shoes, okay? So I'd say that's our major keyword, is seconds. So how I'm going to figure this out is I'm going to use a tape diagram, and I remembered that, or I can look back, and it says it takes her 5 seconds for one shoe. So I'm going to draw one box and put 5 in here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 7 more boxes, so I have a total of 8 boxes, and 5 will go in each box. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's make sure I have 8 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, let's add one last one. 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 are going to go in each box because there's 5 seconds per shoe. And now I'm going to skip count to find my answer. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There's my answer. It takes 40 seconds for her to tie 8 shoes. Now we want to expand on this and write the multiplication sentence. We would write 5, because there's 5 in each box, times 8, because there's 8 boxes. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it gets you a total of 40 seconds. That's our application problem. So it takes her a total of 40 seconds. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to talk more actually about this problem. Okay, so it takes Mrs. Bauer 5 seconds to tie one shoe. So does it take her very long to tie a shoe? No. Okay, let's see. Using my stopwatch, let's see how long a second is. And when you see where the seconds are, let's see if I can zoom in here for you guys. So if you can see, there's a bunch of zeros right now. Where the seconds is actually the 1, 2, 3rd 0. Let's see how 1 second looks like. That's about 1 second. 1 second and 28 milliseconds. So that 1 second is pretty short. Okay, now let's reset it all back to 0. Whoops. Okay, now we're all at 0. And now let's see how long 5 seconds is. Because this is how long it takes her to tie one shoe. Whoops. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So think about that. That wasn't very long of a time. Okay, so the amount of time it takes, let's see how long 40 seconds is, because this is how long it takes Miss Bauer to tie 8 shoes. So I'm going to reset it, go back to 0. You guys will get a chance to play with these in a little bit. So then let's hit start again, and let's count by 5s. Whenever you see 5, or a multiple of 5, you can count along. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. Okay, so that was 40 seconds. So seconds are a unit of time. Okay, I'm going to write that word down for you so you understand that seconds, this is the word seconds, they are a unit of time. All right? What other things might we measure using seconds? Maybe we could measure how long it takes a certain amount of distance to run. Maybe how many seconds it takes us to all turn in our papers at the same time. How many seconds it takes us to walk to the carpet. Ooh, how many seconds it takes us to transition in a math rotation. There's so many ways that we can use seconds. Okay, so turn, and actually I want you to maybe write down right now how many seconds you estimate it takes us to walk from the carpet to sit to our seats. Okay, write that down. All right, now what we're going to do is later, when you come with me, is we will measure how long it takes us. So keep that number with you, because later we will find out how you do. Okay, so the tool now that I'm using to measure is called a stopwatch. We can start it and stop it to measure how much time has passed by. Okay, this is how we measure how much time has passed by. It has 2 buttons. The button on the right is the start button. You can see the word start right there. And it's also the stop button. Okay, and the button on the left, it looks like, is the reset button. So that's where it will bring you back to 0. So right now I'm at 40. If I hit that one time, now it brings me back to 0. The mode button is, I don't really know what it is, but you just want to make sure you can hit mode until you get to all zeros, because that's your seconds monitor. That's where it tells you how many seconds. So the buttons, those are the buttons. So when we stopped the stopwatch, did time stop, or did we just stop measuring time? Okay, I'll ask that again. This is kind of a tricky question. When we stopped the stopwatch, did time stop, or did we just stop measuring the time? So time didn't stop. We just stopped measuring the time by hitting the stop button. Time keeps going. It's our measuring that we stopped. Time is continuous. So that's that word that we learned up here earlier, continuous. Okay, so continuous means, let me zoom back out. Continuous means that it does not stop, but it's always moving forward. We just use stopwatches and clocks to measure its movement. Okay? So now what we're going to do is, I just looked at our clock and I've noticed that about 10 minutes have passed by since we have been watching this video. You can probably look down at your YouTube and see that we're at about 10 minutes right now. So minutes, you can tell, are longer than seconds. Let's find out what the length of a minute feels like. Sit quietly and measure a minute with your stopwatch. So you're actually just going to watch with me. When you're at the table with me, then we'll measure our own minute. But for now, you're just going to see kind of how long a minute is. We can count by 10. So 10. 20. 30. Man, this minute is feeling like a very long time. I bet it's feeling pretty long for you right now, too. We're at 40. See here we are. We're at almost at 50. Think of all the things we could do in this 1 minute. 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. There's 1 minute. All right, and notice how now the 1 went all the way to the other side of those little dots, okay? The semicolons. So they went all the way to the other side, so it starts back at 0, okay? So did 1 minute feel faster or slower than when you were just watching the clock? It felt pretty slow. Okay. So how long a minute feels can change depending on what we're doing, but the measurement always stays the same. What are some other things that we might use to measure minutes? Think about right now, and I'll ask you later. Maybe write down those ways that we can measure minutes. Okay? So we can use a stopwatch to measure how many minutes it takes us to get dark outside. Do you think that's going to take a long time? Let's start until it gets dark out. Man, this might be a long time. Should we keep measuring until it gets dark out? No. So imagine that I measure how long it takes for all the So imagine that I measure how long it takes for all the students in this class to turn 10 years old. Is a stopwatch a good idea? Is a good tool for measuring a long amount of time? No. It's better for measuring an amount of time that is not very long. Time keeps going and going, and a stopwatch just captures a few seconds or minutes of it along the way. All right, so that's our lesson for today. And I do actually not want you to do the problem set today. I'm actually going to have you do some Zearn, or actually you can do some reflex math right now. Okay, so you'll have about 5 to 10 minutes to jump on reflex math. If you have any questions, save those for when you come see me. And I'll see you in a little bit. Happy Thursday.